further ado, I'd like to ask Kim van Helden to start from Radboud University, who's the mobility coordinator. Kim, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jessica, for the introduction. My Spanish is not very good, but I picked out a couple of words that I did understand. I know the word preguntas is questions, I think. So yes, indeed, as Jessica, I think, said, I'll be starting with a presentation of about 10 to 15 minutes, and we'll have some time for questions if you have any about Radboud University. I will share my screen and my presentation now. All right, hopefully you can all see it. Oh wait, I think I have to do it again because there's a video in here and I have to specifically click that you can hear my audio as well. Yes. All right. So let me get this up and running. All right, so my name is Kim van Helden. I am mobility coordinator at Radboud University. I coordinate the exchanges outside of Europe, so all students coming to Radboud University and coming from Radboud University to institutions outside of Europe. And that also includes your university. So I will tell you a little bit more about our university, about Nijmegen, the city where our university is located, and the Netherlands in general. So this is where we are located. Radboud University is in the Netherlands, and we're quite a small country, so it's it might be quite far away from most places. But let's zoom in a little bit more on the Netherlands first. When you think of the Netherlands, then these are images that you may think of. So the tulips, the cheese, the windmills, and the clogs, these are all considered traditionally Dutch. I can say out of personal experience that especially the cheese is very much a true stereotype. Almost all Dutch people love to eat cheese. A couple of years ago, there was this meme on the internet going around of a student in class in the Netherlands that was just eating a block of cheese like this. So we do love our cheese. And if you are interested in joining us at Radboud University, then I also definitely recommend you to try out different cheeses and to visit some of our countryside where you will see the tulips and the typical windmills. Something else that is very, very typically Dutch that you might know are the bikes. We do cycle everywhere, especially within the city of Nijmegen. Nijmegen is very much a cycling city. So we bike everywhere, and the pictures that you see in this presentation, you see our very own special Radboud University bikes that exchange students can also borrow if you want, and they are also handed out during our summer school for you to use, but I will get back to our summer school a little bit later in this presentation. But it's always very nice to see international students cycling around on our Radboud bikes in the city of Nijmegen. So a little bit more about the Netherlands. Maybe you already know this. If not, I'll go through it. I'll go through it quickly. We're a relatively small country with about 17 million inhabitants. We have quite a moderate climate with mild winters and cool summers. At the moment, the weather is quite nice, but we've had a very rainy summer. So unfortunately, we haven't seen the beach and the swimming pool a lot because it was not very warm. So hopefully next year we'll have a warm summer again. In the Netherlands, people are known for treating each other rather informally, even our bosses or teachers. So some teachers might ask you to actually call them professor, but most teachers, if you've known them for a couple of weeks, they will be okay with using their first and last name. So it's quite informal. In general, Dutch people are known for being rather open-minded and straightforward in what they say. We do always warn students before they come to the Netherlands that we might be quite direct in what we think and what we say. But I also sometimes hear stories from international students at Radboud that say, "Oh yeah, you are right. You are quite direct." But we don't mean that in a mean way. We just always want to say what we're thinking so that there is no confusion. Something else about the Netherlands, it's known as a quite innovative country, especially regarding water and logistics. And some of our study programs are also focusing on that. For example, in our biology program, there are some specializations that focus on water innovation. So if you're interested in that, then we might be a good fit for you. About 80% of Dutch people speak English and speak it rather well. So don't be afraid of a language barrier if you want to come to the Netherlands, because most people are able to understand you and talk to you if you speak English. And some people might also want to speak to you in Spanish, maybe even. But I think most people don't know any more words than just a hello and a goodbye. But English will definitely get you around, especially at the university where we're officially a bilingual university, which means that all of our communication is also available in English as well as in Dutch, also on the campus. Then lastly, we're also very much a sports nation. We like cycling, hockeying, ice skating, football, sailing, and it's not on here, but I always like to add that as of a couple of years, we're also very much into Formula One because we have Max Verstappen. So if you're interested in sports and that's something that you really like, then this country is definitely a nice fit as well. All right, so a little bit more about Nijmegen. Where exactly are we located? The city of Nijmegen is in the east of the country. It's very close to the German border. It's only about 10 kilometers, I believe, and then you can cross the border to Germany. It's about 122 kilometers from Amsterdam, which is technically located on the other side of the country, but you can reach that by train in about an hour and a half. And the largest airport of the Netherlands is also located near Amsterdam, so that will, if you fly to Amsterdam, it will take you about an hour and a half to reach Nijmegen. Then there are some other smaller airports close by, such as Eindhoven and Weeze. And those smaller airports are known for many flights within Europe. So if you are interested in joining us in Nijmegen, and you have some free time in which you'd like to travel around Europe more, then Nijmegen is a very good place from which you can reach different airports and different destinations within Europe. So lots of traveling possible. So a little bit more about the city of Nijmegen. I mentioned the cheese already. We have cheese shops, as you can see on the top right picture. On the top left picture, you see our central marketplace in the city center. I have been told that the city of Nijmegen has the closest terrace proximity of the Netherlands, which means that we have the most terrace seats in the square meters of the city of any city in the Netherlands, meaning that if it's a nice day to go outside, you will see all the terraces filled with people just wanting to be outside and have a drink. I do it too, definitely. And then on the top left, you see the same market space, but from a little bit back, so you have a little bit of a better view of what our city center looks like. And at the bottom right picture, you see our bridge crossing the river Waal, because there's a large river running through the city, which makes for very nice views. And it also means that even though we're not located near the sea in any way, we do have some tiny beaches in the city. So a little bit of everything. In addition to the beaches, Nijmegen is also a very green city. Nijmegen was voted the Europe Green Capital in 2018. And here you see some examples of our green city. And on the bottom left, you see a picture of our campus. We also have a very green campus. Part of the campus is located in a small forest. So lots of trees and grass and plants and flowers around, if you like that. So then a little bit more about Nijmegen as a student city. Nijmegen has quite a large student population. I believe about 25% or even more by now. of the people that live in Nijmegen are students, either at Radboud University or at the University of Applied Sciences, that is also here, which basically means that there is always something to do in Nijmegen for students, for young people. So Nijmegen is a very old city. It's the oldest city in the Netherlands, but it has a very young vibe. There's lots of cultural things to do, lots of sports to practice. And as you can see in the bottom left picture, as I said, we also have beaches where there's not just a place to hang out, but there's also festivals organized there. And on the bottom right picture, that's something nice to point out. That is a very, very typical view of a student home in Nijmegen. Because you see all the bikes and all the doorbells, meaning that there are probably about 20 people living in the building, probably about 20 students. So this would be a very typical view of student housing in the city of Nijmegen. All right, let's zoom in on Radboud University a little bit more. I have a video now. Let me hope. I hope it works. Oh no. Yes, there it is. I hope you can see it. All right, I hope you were able to see the video okay. Great, thanks. So just a short introduction to Radboud University and to Nijmegen. I'm not sure if you saw the two students drinking beer, but that's what I mentioned, what I meant when I said that Dutch people, when the sun shines, they go to the terrace and they have a beer. So the video proves that. So this is what Radboud University looks like from the air. As I said, it's quite a green campus, trees everywhere, a little bit of forest everywhere. And if you go to the tallest building on campus, if you go to the 20th floor, you can even, on a clear day, see this very, very small hills that we have outside of the city. And you can sometimes even see the German border or beyond. So a little bit more about what you can do at Radboud University. We have 7 faculties. You can find them here. Almost all faculties have courses in English available to exchange students. Some faculties might have a bit more courses available. Some faculties might have less courses available, but generally all faculties have courses in English. There is an overview of the courses that we offer in English on our website. And they are mostly in these 14 English taught bachelor's programs. These programs are all fully English taught. That doesn't mean that the other programs that we have do not have English courses. It means that the other programs may also have courses taught in English, but they might also have courses taught in Dutch. So they're not fully English taught programs. So basically that means that these English taught programs, they all have exchange courses available, and the other programs that we have might have some exchange courses available. And so especially if you're a student in any of these programs, then you might want to look into Radboud University if you're interested. We are also very proud to be among the top 1% of the world's best universities. I include an overview of the rankings here, but they're also on our website if you want to take a look at that further. So a little bit more about the way of teaching at Radboud, and it's also quite typically Dutch, I believe, that we have rather small-scale teaching and lots of time for personal attention from our lecturers. So you will have, if you take a full load, a full study load of courses in a semester, you will have approximately 15 class hours per week, and you will be expected to a lot of self-study at home of approximately 25 hours. The education is rather a small scale, so that means that lots of your courses will be in seminars and working groups of about 15 to 30 people. Could also be a lower number of people depending on the course. Sometimes you will also have lectures, especially in the bigger programs like psychology, and the big lectures can actually vary from 45 persons to a full lecture hall of 400 people, but mostly probably you will be in seminars and working groups. We have lots of various facilities on our campus. Our Radboud Sports Center was voted one of the best sports centers in universities in the world by an international student survey. All different kinds of sports can be practiced there, and it's also rather cheap. If you are a student at Radboud University, you get a discount on having a subscription there. And we also have a large library, of which you can also see 2 pictures. Then here a little bit more pictures of the research at our university. At the top bottom left, you see pictures of our Donders Institute, which is for brain and neurocognition. I'm not too familiar with that because that's not my personal background, so I'll just quickly go to the next slide so I don't say anything that's not actually true, because I don't really know anything about brain and cognition. Right, a little bit more about student accommodation. At the moment, unfortunately, we have a little bit less rooms available, but we're hoping that from next year onwards, so from the fall 2022 semester onwards, so next year, September, we will be able to guarantee accommodation again. So I'm thinking that that would be you guys maybe. Student accommodation is, Radboud University does not have their own buildings per se, so we don't have accommodation on campus, but we work together with various companies in the Netherlands that provide us with student accommodation. That means that you can get a room very close to campus, but you can also maybe get a room more in the city center, a little bit outside of the city center, also depending on what your personal preferences are. Very often you will have your own room, but with shared facilities. So you will share a kitchen, a bathroom, and a toilet. Some rooms have their own kitchen or their own toilet or their own bathroom, but those prices will be a bit higher. The costs will range from about 370 euros to 550 euros per month. The cheaper rooms are then the rooms that you have a lot of shared facilities, and the more expensive rooms are the rooms that where you will have your own facilities. And Dutch students always cook themselves or they order takeout, but we don't have meal plan options. However, we do have different cafeterias on our campus, so it would be possible to eat on campus, but most students also like to cook for themselves, and also all accommodation has either shared or personal kitchen facilities. So one of the things that I also would like to point out, and that's one of the last things, because I might be running a little bit out of time, we also have a summer school that takes place yearly. So if you're not sure yet about a full exchange or doing a full semester abroad, and if you'd like to taste a little bit of the international experience, but for a shorter period of time, then the summer school might be a good option for you. The Radboud Summer School usually takes place in the first 2 weeks of July and August, meaning that you can choose one of the 2 summer school editions. Generally, we have over 1,000 students participating of over 60 nationalities. In 2021, we had to do an online edition with over 30 courses and still over 50 different nationalities. So it's a great way to meet people from all over the world. For next year, of course, we're planning to have it on our campus again, and we're hoping that that will be possible. The summer school consists of both Radboud lecturers and also international guest lecturers. So there's a great variety of courses available. And our summer school team also always puts a lot of effort in the social program that is available. So I know from personal experience that they always go to a so-called pancake boat, which is a boat that takes you across the River Waal, and you can eat pancakes on the boat. Isn't it wonderful? If you're interested in participating in our summer school, then you get a discount since you're an applicant from one of our partner universities. And if you apply before the deadline of the 1st of April, you get an extra discount. So in total, you can get a discount of 25%, which is quite a lot. All right, that was it. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, you can ask them now, or you can also send them to me via email later.
Thanks so much, Kim. That was a great presentation, really interesting, complete, and gets you want to start eating cheese right now. There is one question from a student that says, I know the Netherlands has great neuroscience education. Is there any chance to do research in that field during the time we are there? Or maybe, you know, someone who can talk to us. Thank you. I don't know if in your neuroscience field, there is any chance students, while they're in an exchange program, they can do research. Is that a possibility?
That might be a possibility. Generally, exchanges are based on taking courses at Radboud, but we do have a program in neuroscience indeed. So if you're interested in combining courses with maybe a little bit of field work or a short internship, I would advise you to send us an email so I can connect you to our contact person at the Faculty of Science, as it might be possible for you to do a short internship or to see if there are any courses that rely on doing research. So it could be the case maybe that there is a full course that has a research assignment. So it depends on what you are looking for and what is available in our neuroscience department. But you'd be very welcome to let me know so I can ask our colleagues at the relevant department what the possibilities are. I will put my email address in the chat.
Perfect, thank you, Kim. Yes, if students have specific questions on certain areas, they can contact us and we can get you in touch with our partners.
That's also fine, definitely.
Yeah. And I do have one more question regarding the language requirements. Is there a specific language requirement for students to apply to Radboud?
So since most of our available courses to exchange students are in English, the programs ask for a B2 level in English. So there are different ways to prove your B2 level. That can be through an IELTS or a TOEFL. And some programs might have a little bit higher requirements for that. So I know that our Nijmegen School of Management ask for C1 instead of B2, as well as some programs at the Faculty of Arts in English and American Studies, since those courses are a little bit of a higher level in English. In the chat, I will also put the link to the Proof of English webpage, where you can find more specific information on what is accepted as sufficient proof of English.
Right. Thank you. There is a question regarding specific courses, but I think maybe students can just go directly to your webpage and do the research there. Yes. So we can then move on to our next guest. And we have your contact, Kim, in case we have further questions or in case we need your presentation to share for students. And we really appreciate your time, and it was great to have you with us. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Very happy to be here, and thank you very much for inviting me.
Okay, so we'll move on to our next presentation from Catholic University Eichstätt-Ingolstadt in Germany. and Alice Sophie Rohn is here with us, who's the incoming coordinator for international students. Alice, it's lovely to have you with us as well. I don't know if you can, oh, great.
Thank you very much for the nice introduction, Jessica. I'm happy to be here. Due to my internet connection, I have to turn off the video at this point before I start the presentation, because I really want you to be able to see my presentation. I hope that's okay. Maybe I will just already share my screen at the moment, and then we will continue. Let me just, okay. Perfect. I hope everyone can see this. So hi everyone, I'm Alice Sophie Rohn. I'm the incoming coordinator at our campus in Ingolstadt from the Eichstätt University, Catholic University Eichstätt-Ingolstadt. On behalf of the KU, allow me to extend a warm welcome. Dr. Marcus and Dr. Riffel, the heads of our department, also send their regards. There will be, as Jessica already explained, time for questions at the end of my presentation. So yeah, I'm happy to answer them later on. Okay. First, let me start with some general information. We have around 5,000 students and a very green and compact campus. We are we only have a campus with very short distances. We were recently awarded to be the most popular university in Germany in 2021, as I said, very recently, by the Study Check portal. Among other things, students could award grades for the study conditions, the quality of our courses, and the facilities. We are very happy that our students are obviously so happy with us. We are, as I already said, a Catholic university, but we are state approved, and we are of course open to students of all faiths. So even if you are not Catholic, you are happy to study at our university. We are quite diverse. We have several faculties. In Ingolstadt is the Ingolstadt School of Management, which has all the business courses, and that's where I'm based. My colleague Jessica is responsible for our other faculties in Eichstätt. We are quite international. We have several partner universities, for example, you. As I said, we are a special university as we have two campuses, one in Eichstätt and one in Ingolstadt. First of all, Eichstätt is a rather small university town. It's a very old town. And I'm going to share some additional photos of it. We are surrounded by the Altmühltal, which is very beautiful, especially in the autumn right now. There's a high standard of living, and the living costs are quite low, actually, compared to Ingolstadt, for example. As you can see, there are some cathedrals, and the university buildings are very baroque and old and beautiful. And there's also the Altmühl on the right bottom, where you can do canoe tours and stuff. So it's very, very nice. Compared to that, Ingolstadt is a younger city with a bigger population. It's well known for Audi, because Audi, the car manufacturer, has its headquarters in Ingolstadt. So it's very well known for its industry and also for its culture. It has its the Bavarian's first university actually was founded in Ingolstadt, so it's also very traditional. On the left upper hand, you can see the town square, and then we have some cathedrals and some parks, and of course the Audi Museum. We are located quite centrally in Germany and also, I think, in Europe. Paris and Venice are only a short train ride away. The famous city Munich is only a very short ride away, and Berlin, of course. So it's very well located and perfect for trips when you are an exchange student. Our current exchange students already went to some other towns in Germany and visited them recently. We have very compact campuses, which are close to both city centers, so approximately 5 minutes. As I said, we have green spaces and excellent facilities, of course. We also have short programs. We have the International Fall Term, which is happening in Ingolstadt, and 2 summer schools. And we definitely plan to have them next year as well, the summer school in Eichstätt. Maybe let me give you some additional info on that. The International Fall Term is a short-term program which runs from September until December. And classes and exams will be done before December 24th, so before Christmas. You can choose from certain courses and earn up to 30 ECTS, but that depends on your personal interests and your time management, of course. Yes, it's quite popular, actually. We have a service for our exchange students, which is very individual. Since we are a rather small university, we are able to give you a very individual service. We have small groups which smooth the integration process. We also offer a housing service. We do not have housing on campus, but we work together with different landlords in our both campus cities. We also have a buddy program and welcome teams who help with the first weeks and of course afterwards as well. And we also have a welcome and orientation week. Regarding the application, you have, of course, turned to your home university and they have to contact us for the individual semesters. Our language requirements are in English B2 and in German B1, depending on the language of the courses. So we have a variety of English courses. They are mostly in our business departments, but of course also in our other faculties. It is possible that you take both on courses on both campuses. Yes, but of course you have to keep in mind that you have to commute between both cities then. Why choose the KU? For us, students are not a number. We have very good rankings. We have a strong commitment to help you and to support you individually. And yes, we would be very happy to have you with us. My colleague Jessica, who is responsible for our campus in Eichstätt, could not be here, but you are happy to contact her as well if you have questions for her faculty. And of course, you're always happy to welcome to contact me via my email address. And there are no wrong questions or stupid questions. Yeah. So that's it from my side. I am opening the floor for questions, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Alice, so much for your presentation. I don't know if anyone has any questions. Would like to ask Alice something from what she presented.
Maybe I might add the costs for housing. They are between 250 euros and 550 euros, but that depends on the location. Of course, the location, as I already said in my presentation, in Eichstätt is cheaper as it is in Ingolstadt. But those are, yeah, the costs roundabout. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So that would be housing. And what about the daily living costs? Do you have an approximate number for that as well, or an idea?
For meals, we always say approximately around 1,000 euros per semester for food and stuff. Yeah. And then we have our student service fee, which is around 50 euros. And if you want to take advantage of our housing service, which you can do while you apply. So when you are nominated, you apply in our online system, and then you can apply also for our housing service. And for that, we ask for a 350 euros housing deposit. But you get that back, 300 euros, so only 50 euros is a fee. 300 euros will be paid back to you should there are no damages in your room and no outstanding rent fees or anything. Yeah, that's around it.
Perfect. There's one student asking after courses in law specifically. I guess we can check that on your webpage as well, so students can have an idea.
Yes, we do have, of course, law courses, but they are mostly in German. There are a few in English, but most of them are in German. So you would need to have a German language certificate for that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, Alice, thank you so much for your time and your presentation. It was excellent to have you virtually. I guess we hope to have you soon with us in the flesh, but it was lovely to have you. Thank you so much, and we look forward to having lots of questions and emails asking after your university.
Thank you so much for having me and for the kind invitation, and I can only encourage you to ask any questions. I will be happy to answer them. Okay, have a nice rest of your virtual fair. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Alice. Okay, so our next presentation and the last one for today is Stephanie Nixon from Manchester University. Stephanie, it's lovely to have you and to see you again. Thank you very much for taking the time to present to our students the opportunities in Manchester. So I'll just let you go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Jessica. Thanks for the introduction and thanks for the invitation today as well. I'm just going to see if I can share my screen with you. If you just bear with me 1 second. I'm struggling to share, just hold on 1 moment. Jessica, can you see in your settings, it says on mine, your screen sharing is paused. I'm not sure if there's permissions.
Give me 1 second and I'll see if I can fix it. Do you think you can start sharing now? Because it does say.
Okay, let me try. Okay.
Perfect.
Thanks, Jessica.
No problem.
Okay. So thanks very much for inviting me today. I'm Stephanie Nixon, International Programmes Officer at the University of Manchester. So I work with students from our exchange partners who come and spend a semester or a year at Manchester. This is what we're going to be covering today, so these 5 main areas, and the presentation lasts about 15 minutes, and I think there are about 8 slides, so just 2 minutes or so per slide. So I'll move on to tell you a little bit about the University of Manchester itself. It is the biggest single site university in the UK. We have almost 40,000 students in total, so it is very big. Of those 40,000 students, approximately 11,000 are international. So it's not the majority, it is still a majority British university, but there's a big number of international students on campus. And of those 11,000 international students, approximately 1,000 are study abroad and exchange students just with us for a short period. And they come from countries all over the world. Typically, we would have study abroad and exchange students from around 40 different countries in any given year. As well as being the biggest university in the UK, the University of Manchester is also the most popular and oversubscribed university for British students. So for many of our courses, we have over 100 applications for every one place that's available on that course. So if you have already applied and been accepted to the University of Manchester, well done, very well done. More than £1 billion has been invested over the last 10 years or so in providing some outstanding learning facilities for students. And there's also some brand new state-of-the-art buildings on campus alongside some of the more traditional Victorian buildings like you can see on the screen. We have more than 1,000 degree programmes available at Manchester. Now, you as an exchange student wouldn't be doing a degree programme with us, but the reason I'm mentioning the number of programmes that we have is that over 1,000 degree programmes means for you around 10,000 individual course units that you can choose from for your programme of study. University of Manchester is a very historic university. It was the birthplace of the nuclear age, where Ernest Rutherford carried out lots of his pioneering work that led to the splitting of the atom on our campus. It's where the computer revolution started. So in 1948, the world's first programmable stored computer was developed at Manchester. And lots of very cutting edge scientific developments continue right through to this day. So we've got scientists at the moment working on a new material called graphene, which is 1 atom thick, and it's the lightest material that's ever been known. And thinking is that it will completely revolutionize material science in the coming decades. And you'll have mobile phones that are as light as a sheet of paper because they're made of graphene. Aircraft fuselage will be made of graphene rather than aluminium, so they'll be much lighter. So that kind of scientific development continues right through to this day. We have 25 Nobel Prize winners on our past and current faculty and student body, and internationally we're ranked as number 35 in the world and number 5 in the UK. So you should expect it will be quite a serious academic experience on our programme, but it is worth it because a University of Manchester transcript holds a lot of prestige all around the world. So the exchange programme that we have, as I mentioned, we have usually around 1,000 students doing this same exchange programme every year. And it's available as a semester programme or a year-long programme. The fall semester runs from September to January, and the spring semester runs from January to June. If you're interested in doing a year-long programme with us, we can accept students for an academic year, which is September to June, or for a calendar year, which is January to January. It just depends how it fits best with your programme back home. To be eligible for the programme, you must have an overall B for your programme, your academic programme of study. So it's at least a 3.0 on a 4.0 scale. And for students whose first language isn't English, you must also meet our English language entry requirements, which are an IELTS of 6 overall, with not less than 5.5 in any individual component. However, some of our subject areas have higher requirements than that, And if that is the case, you must also meet those subject area English language requirements. Exchange students must also be an official nominee of their home university rather than applying to us independently. Our programme is full-time. There isn't an option to do part-time study under the exchange agreement, and a full-time course load is 50 or 60 UK credits per semester, and all of our individual course units carry either 10 or 20 UK credits. So some of you might happen to pick all 10 credit courses, so you might take 5 or 6 different courses whilst you're with us. Other students might happen to choose all 20 credit courses, so you might only take 3 different course units. So what's important for us is the number of credits rather than the number of courses. You can pick and mix course units from across multiple different subject areas. You're not restricted just to one subject area. And the application to our programme is online, but you apply initially through USAL, obviously, to get the nomination. And the deadline for September entry is the 1st of June, and the deadline for application for January entry is the 1st of November each year. I'm not going to read through this slide, you can just kind of read through it at your own pace. But these are the subject areas that we have available for exchange students. It's probably quicker just for me to tell you subject areas that we don't have provision in. So we don't have any majors in journalism, media studies, sports or fine art, but everything else you can see on the screen is available to you. You will see, if you look on the University of Manchester website, a couple of other subject areas that we do offer, but they're not open to exchange students. So primarily they are electrical engineering, architecture, and then the professional courses like nursing, dentistry, pharmacy and medicine. Particularly strong disciplines at Manchester, and therefore very oversubscribed, are physics, geography, computer science, economics, business, history and English. So we recommend early application for those subject areas. Because we're such a big university, there's a raft of different support services that have been put in place. So the office that I work for, the International Programmes Office, we act as the home school for all exchange students. So we're the first port of call if you have any questions, and we can signpost you on to specialist services if required. We offer a virtual travel companion, and that basically is we're in touch with you by text message right from the point when you leave your house for your journey to Manchester, and then when you arrive at Manchester Airport, there are staff at the airport to help you with your onward journey as well. We offer an orientation programme in both semesters, and it's a very practical programme that tells you how to make sure you're on the right course units, where to get a mobile phone from, where the nearest supermarket is, those kinds of things to help you settle in. We have a team of staff called the Res Life team who live in residences with students. So they're a really good source of pastoral and welfare support whilst you're in your residence if you ever needed it. And we also have a layer of academic support for exchange students through nominated academics whose role is to support exchange and study abroad students with any academic queries. We also encourage all exchange students to join something called the International Society, and they have around 3,000 members a year, British students as well as international students. So it's a really great way to make friends. And one of the things that we encourage you to take advantage of is that they organise trips and excursions all over the UK every weekend, really inexpensively. So it's a great way to see more of the country. We also offer the Global Friends Mentor Scheme, which is where we match you as an incoming exchange student to a Manchester exchange student who studied abroad themselves in the previous semester, and we put you in touch before you even leave your home country, so that when you arrive in the UK, you at least know one person. And as an exchange student, you are a fully registered University of Manchester student, so you can join any clubs and societies that are run through the Student Union or the Athletics Union. So if you like a particular type of music or a particular sport, for example, you can join all of those clubs. And you can make use of all the central university support services, like the Disability Advisory Support Service, counselling and mental health support, the welfare and pastoral support teams in schools, and so on. We don't mandate that exchange students live in university housing, but we strongly recommend it. We've never had a case so far where an exchange student that's wanted university housing hasn't got it, so we do encourage you to apply for university-owned residences. We don't have an international house where we house international students separately from British students. You will be fully integrated with British students. We don't have any room shares, so you'll have your own individual bedroom. Usually somewhere between 7 and 9 bedrooms are grouped together in an apartment, and that apartment will share a living room, kitchen facilities, sometimes bathroom facilities, although you can opt for an ensuite bathroom, which means your own bathroom attached to your bedroom if you prefer. We offer catered residences or self-catered. Catered is where meals are provided for you in the residence. Self-catered is where no meals are provided, you cook for yourselves. The furthest away from our teaching buildings that you could possibly be housed in university residences is about a 30-minute walk. It takes about 7 or 8 minutes on the bus, but there are some residences right on campus if you prefer to be 5 minutes away from your teaching building, for example. Your housing application is a separate additional online application that you only complete after you've received your acceptance letter from us. And one thing I will just mention about our halls of residence, it is primarily first year students who live in halls in the UK. So you might notice if you're in your 3rd year, for example, at USAL, you might notice that students are a year or 2 younger than you. But it makes for a great social life, because those students, they're all away from home for the first time. They want to make friends with everyone. You'll get loads of invitations to different things. So there is an upside to that. I don't know whether any of you have visited Manchester for holidays or to visit family or so on, but I'll just give you a whistle-stop tour of what the city's like. It's a big city by UK standards, so there are about 2.5 million people who live in the Greater Manchester area. 40 different languages are spoken in the city, and over 85,000 students live in Manchester. It actually has the biggest student population in Western Europe. It's very famous for sport. Obviously, we've got Manchester United and so on. Very famous for music. Lots of very well-known bands come from Manchester, and there is the most amazing live music scene in the city, if you like that kind of thing. It's a very vibrant, young, dynamic, multicultural, cosmopolitan city. Very welcoming, very tolerant, very accepting. It's a city where minorities don't feel like minorities, just because it's so accepting of all different kinds of people. Our university campus is located about half a mile from the city centre, so it is very much an urban experience with us. There is a real cafe culture in Manchester, so there are hundreds, if not thousands, of bars, cafes, restaurants, theatres and so on. There is a real buzz in the city. It's a very compact city centre, so very easy to walk all around the city centre within half a day. And there are lots of distinct sections to the city. So there's the northern quarter that's very bohemian, with lots of independent coffee shops and clothes stores and those kind of things. There's the shopping districts, there's the gay village, and we have the third largest Chinatown in Europe as well. The cost of living in Manchester is much lower than lots of other UK cities, and we estimate that the cost of living for a single semester is about £4,500 sterling, and that's everything. That's your housing, clothing, books, meals, local transportation, and so on. Manchester is also quite a radical city. So it's where the suffragette movement started, which was the movement to give women the vote in the UK. It's where Mr. Rolls met Mr. Royce. Engels and Marx met and developed their ideas. And it does remain quite a politically active and engaged city even today. So you can just see on this slide visually where the city is in relation to other cities in the UK. We're right in the middle of the geographic island of Great Britain. It's about just over 2 hours away from London, and there are fast trains between London and Manchester that run every 20 or 30 minutes. Our campus is about 15 minutes away from Manchester Airport, and Manchester Airport itself is a major international airport hub. You can get flights from Manchester to Amsterdam that take 45 minutes. You can be in Paris in an hour, in Barcelona in an hour and a half, Rome in 2 hours. So very easy to explore continental Europe from Manchester as a base. And we are also about 30 minutes away from what's called an area of outstanding natural beauty, which is the Peak District. So if you like walking, hiking, climbing, rambling, those kind of things, there's countryside very close by where you can do that. This slide just visually shows you where our campus is in relation to the city centre. So you can see we're not set out in a green field at all. It's very much an urban experience. Manchester is a good fit for students who are looking for that kind of urban experience. It's a good fit for students who have a degree of flexibility with their programme of study, because of the fact that you select your course units prior to arrival, but you don't find out timetabling information until sometimes you arrive in Manchester. So if you've got a timetable clash, you may need to drop a unit and find a new one. So it's probably a better fit for students who have some flexibility. It's a great fit for minority students. As I've said, it's an incredibly welcoming, tolerant and accepting city. A great fit for students who like sport and music, because there's loads of opportunity to get involved in those. It's not ideal for students who are in their final year of study back home. And the reason is the slight misalignment of our semester dates. So our academic year ends in June, which means that papers are not marked, results released and transcripts prepared until usually the end of July, beginning of August. So sometimes that can cause problems if students need to walk a graduation ceremony earlier than that. So that wraps up the overview of the institution. There's just some web links on the slide on the screen now, so that you can find out more about the programme and the university generally. And then my email address is on the screen as well. You're very welcome to email me directly with any questions. So with that, I'll hand back to Jessica.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Stephanie. That was great, a very whole and interesting presentation. I think it covered lots of questions that maybe some students already had in mind. I don't know if there are any questions. There is one question in the chat, and I believe it's from one of our students who is traveling to Manchester actually in the next. So Candelaria is asking, she has a possibility to go to Manchester next semester, but I would like to know some things first. How about classes today? Are they hybrid, online or face-to-face? would you recommend waiting a little bit more, or should they actually travel next semester? Because they did have to actually postpone from last semester because of the Argentina being in the red list for UK. And she's also asking a rather specific question regarding accommodation, if it's too late to book a place in your housing for next semester, and if there are any other available possibilities. So these are very specific questions for Candelaria. Maybe she can also contact you directly for further information.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I will just say it's a good question actually about the format of teaching and learning, in light of COVID. So we have returned to face-to-face teaching now on campus for this semester. However, it was actually the University of Manchester's ambition long before COVID to move to something called blended learning, which isn't the same thing as online learning. So blended learning is face-to-face classes, as you might be used to, but it's supplemented and augmented by additional virtual materials. So students do still have to attend face-to-face classes, but there's a raft now of online material that they can also access. And what some of the schools, as we went through the pandemic last year, what some schools found is that lots of students preferred the non-interactive lectures to be available online. So we have some lectures, for example, that might have 150 students in the lecture theatre. So they're very passive. Students don't get a chance to ask questions. Students' feedback was that they prefer those to be virtual, but it's the small group sessions that they wanted to be face-to-face. So there is very much this blended approach now where it's face-to-face as standard, but some of the non-interactive and supplementary resources are available online. So yeah, the answer to the question is face-to-face is happening, but there is that additional support virtually as well. So we're going through the process of getting students enrolled on course units for semester 2 now. So you are very welcome to join us in semester 2. What I will just say actually, because it links to the next part of the question. So housing this year, we do recommend students apply for university housing, and we are expecting to have sufficient rooms available for students. However, housing has been very popular this year, so there might be less choice available in which housing complex you were placed in. So accommodation should be available, but if you want the normal choice that you would ordinarily get, then we're happy for students to defer to the next academic year if they can't get the residence that they want. But housing is available, but the choice might be a little bit more limited.
Great. So Candelaria should contact you regarding the accommodation for her next semester abroad. If she needs to book anything or make a deposit or whatever, she would need to contact you then.
Yeah, so we've actually extended our application deadline for semester 2 entry as well. Ordinarily it's the 1st of November, but we've just introduced a new online application system. So we've extended it to the 15th of November. So we've still got almost 3 weeks for students to submit their application to the programme. And then the housing application is done in the 2 weeks following that. So there is still plenty of time. It is just a case that there might be a restricted range of housing available.
Perfect. Okay, thank you so much, Stephanie. Thank you for your time and your presentation. It was super clear and complete and very interesting. And if we do have any questions or concerns, we'll let you know. And I'm sure Candelaria is very much looking forward to visiting you. So thank you again for your time.
No problem. Thanks for inviting me. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. Y bueno, voy a ahora aprovechar a pasar al español y y terminar esta Feria Internacional, la primera jornada, para volver a invitarlos a la sesión de mañana, que también empieza a las 12. Vamos a tener otros 3 socios de invitados para contar sobre sus universidades, y a las 2:30 de la tarde una breve presentación de nuestra parte sobre cómo aplicar a un intercambio y cuáles son las diferentes posibilidades, los procesos, etcétera, y unos testimonios también de alumnos que ya han realizado intercambios, así que también los esperamos en ese momento. Y bueno, agradecerles a todos por acompañarnos y por estar acá presentes. Así que muchas gracias y que tengan un lindo día.
Muchas gracias.